My name's Lisa Chase, and I'm with University of Vermont Extension and the Vermont Tourism Research Center. And it is truly a privilege to welcome you here to the official launch of the Global Agritourism Network. I want to start off by talking a little bit about the seeds of this network, how it began, and how I first got involved was back in 2018, when I was fortunate to go to the very first World Congress on Agritourism, which was hosted by UREC Research in Bolzano, Italy. There were about 250 participants from over 40 countries. And that conference was just a phenomenal experience for me. Coming from the small state of Vermont in the northeast part of the US, I had worked for many years in agritourism. And I knew a little bit about agritourism around the US and a few other countries, but I did not realize that agritourism is happening around the globe in so many amazing ways. And one of the many discussions that happened at that conference, at that first World Congress of Agritourism in 2018, where people started talking. And Pandurang Tiwari from Agritourism India in particular was saying, we need to start an association. We need to have a network that brings us together. So there was discussion about that idea, but it didn't come to fruition just yet. What did happen, though, is a plan for the next international conference, which was the International Workshop on Agritourism that University of Vermont Extension, where I am, was fortunate to host, and the original plan was to host it in October of 2020. Well, we all know what happened early in 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic shut down everything, and we all went online and conferences were canceled. So we postponed that International Workshop on Agritourism. And like the rest of the world, we went online with agritourism gatherings, a series of webinars. And over the course of 2 years, we hosted over 20 webinars, and we brought in around 3,000 participants, unique participants from more than 80 countries. And with these monthly meetings online, we did build community. We did get to share a lot of really amazing information, but it wasn't quite the same as getting together in person. And we finally were able to get together in person and also virtually in Vermont in August of 2022 for the International Workshop on Agritourism. We had over 500 participants with around 350 here in Vermont, and another 150 joining us online. And I recognize many faces out there, and I know that many of you were at the closing session, and you will remember that at the closing session, there was a very clear and very passionate call for the development of a global agritourism network. As a result, a small group after that conference started meeting together and talking to each other and saying, what could this global agritourism network look like? Included in that group were several organizations who are represented here today, like Agritourism India, Agritourism Africa, NAFTMA, International Agritourism Association, Farmstay USA, UREC Research. There were farmers joining us, as well as several universities around the globe with leading agritourism researchers. And we joke to ourselves that we're sort of building the plane as we're attempting to fly it, but we really appreciate all of you joining us today. I want to give a shout out to UREC Research for hosting the website. You can see the link here. With more information about the Global Agritourism Network, and we can drop that link into chat for you. And the logo design was provided by Mr. Pandurang Tiwari of Agritourism India, in collaboration with Rohana from the University of Sri Lanka. You'll hear more from both of them in just a little bit. What we want to talk about today is how all of you can get involved and engaged in this agritourism network. But before we get into the specifics of that, I'm going to launch a poll. So you should see a poll on your screen now. And for those of you who've been on our webinars, this poll should look very familiar to you. I see many of you are already answering it. In this poll, we ask you to tell us who you are, describe yourself, and of course, we know many people wear many hats, so check as many boxes as you would like. And when you're done answering the poll, if you wouldn't mind, type into chat. Make sure that you've selected everyone. Everyone can see your responses, and if you're willing to share, give us a little more detail on who you are, where you're from, and how you're involved in agritourism. What kind of agritourism do you do? We had over 650 people registering for this launch today, knowing that for many of them, it's the middle of the night and they weren't going to make it in person, but they want to stay in touch. And it looks like we have a little over 200 people here with us today, which we're used to doing webinars with that amount. So a Zoom meeting's a little different, but we wanted to try it because we want to give everyone the chance to interact and get to know each other more. I'm ending the poll now and I'm sharing the results. So you should see on your screen that it looks like we have a very good mix with, let's see, about 30% farmers and ranchers, 1/3 researchers, and then we've got about 1/4 educators, 1/4 tourism professionals. We've also got some service providers, nonprofits, government agencies, business owners, and of course, other. So very impressive mix of people. And that's part of our goal with this association. Networks and associations end up focusing on just the researchers or just the farmers or just the tourism people. And our goal with this network is to bring us all together because we think there's so much that we can learn from each other and so much sharing that we can do across the disciplines. And as we set up the leadership structure for this global agritourism network, we kept that diversity of disciplines, of geographies, all sorts of different types of diversity in mind. I am thrilled to introduce the current leadership of the Global Agritourism Network. Now, these are 2-year positions. I am honored to be the chair and to be working closely with Carla from North Carolina State University, the vice chair, and Tomas from UREC Research. Even though the network's just starting, Tomas was named past chair because as the founder of the first World Congress on Agritourism and really the start of this Global Agritourism Network, we felt that role belonged to Tomas. We are fortunate to have Rohana from the University of Sri Lanka serving as treasurer and Chadley from Cultivating Tourism serving as our secretary. And we have assembled just an amazing team of regional representatives. I will mention we're missing one representative in North Africa. So if you know anyone in North Africa who might be interested, let us know. And throughout the regions, we're still getting organized and figuring out the best ways for our regional representatives to work within a region and bring people together. We're going to drop a link into chat now that gives you a form to fill out. If you fill out that form and check a box giving permission to share your contact info, then we'll share your contact info with your appropriate regional representative, and they will be reaching out to you in the coming month or so as we get organized and figure out how to operate within the regions and develop collaborations within the regions. I will say that I know North America, for those of you here from North America, Susie and Scotty are planning a Zoom meeting on June 15th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll send that information out to you after you've filled out and submitted the form. Also on the form, you're going to see that there is the opportunity to select committees to be a part of. And that's what we're focused on for the rest of our time today. Here's a list of all the committees, and what we're going to spend the next 15 minutes or so doing is having each of the committee chairs introduce their committee, the goals for their committees. And then when we're done with all the introductions, the next thing we're going to do is invite you to join breakout groups. You're going to notice in the form, you can check lots of different committees. You can be a part of as many committees as you want. However, we're going to ask you today, once we move into breakout rooms, to pick your top choice of a committee and join that one for the remainder of our meeting time today. I'm now gonna move to introducing our committee chairs, and we're gonna start off with the Promotion and Funds Committee. And I'd like to introduce Rohana from the University of Sri Lanka to unmute and say a few words about what the Promotion and Funds Committee is all about.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm from Sri Lanka. I'm the Professor of Business Management, and I'm the chair of the Promotion and Funds Committee, where we have a mandate and a role to promote this network, Global Agritourism Network, throughout the world. I'm happy that there are representatives from throughout the world, from all the regions, which I have gone through this list. So very happy to say that this is very enthusiasm. And today what we are expecting to promote and fundraising, which is also a very important for this network, requires a multi-phased approach that includes leverage social media, website and content marketing, collaborations and partnerships, events and workshops, crowdfunding campaigns, corporate sponsorships, grant applications, donor engagement, volunteer programs, and public relations and media outreach. By utilizing these strategies effectively, GAN can raise awareness, generate funds, and garner support for its mission of promoting agritourism and sustainable agriculture globally. That will be our future plan. During our committee sessions, we will discuss it further. Thank you very much, Lisa, for giving this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Rohana, for your leadership. Next up, Dave from Clemson University. Will you tell us about the research committee?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Dave Lemie. I'm a professor at Clemson University, which is in South Carolina, the southeastern kind of corner of the United States. I'm also a dual citizen in the European Union, for those of you on that side of the pond as well. So we organized this committee for the purpose of bringing those who are working with agritourism, doing research, maybe supporting graduate students, or maybe graduate students themselves conducting research, with the idea that this is a sector that's growing. There's already research that's been underway for the last several years, and there is expected to be more and more. And if we don't find a way to organize it to some degree, then we think we'll have much more of an unfocused kind of effort. So the purpose of this committee is to assimilate the people who have those interests, to come together and to develop kind of an agenda together, so we can share our research findings, so we can perhaps explore new avenues for funding and pursuing multidisciplinary research for the benefit of the growing agritourism sector globally. So look forward to seeing some of you at our session.
Thank you, Dave. Next up is Carla for the Definitions and Standards Committee.
Thanks, Lisa. Greetings, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. I am Carla Barbieri, a professor at North Carolina State University, and I am co-chairing this committee with Jackie Taylor. She is the CEO and founder of Agritourism South Africa. I am also originally from Peru, so I just wanted to mention that. As we have been saying, I mean, the former speakers, agritourism is growing all over the world. But at the same time, I think that one of the wonders of agritourism is its uniqueness. Every single area will have their own individual type of agritourism based on their own resources. However, we do need a standard definition, something that it can help us to better convey marketing strategies, promotion, especially when we target the visitors. So our committee is about that, based on what is our own uniqueness in whatever region of the world we are. What are those commonalities that will bring us together so we can convey better the purpose of agritourism? Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. Next, we'll hear from Rose about the Policy and Advocacy Committee.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Hi, everybody. My name's Rose Wright. I'm in Australia. I run an organisation called Regionality, and we work with farmers and regions all over the country, helping them to develop experiences and innovate their farms. We're running the Policy and Advocacy Committee. It's not very sexy, I know, as a name, but really without strong guidelines, policy and advocacy for this sector, because this is an emerging sector in many countries, especially in places like Australia and other countries around the world, we feel like it's really important to create an environment that supports agritourism to flourish, and authentic agritourism to flourish. So this committee's work I believe, is really important to share knowledge about what we can do around the world, success stories and challenges, and to be able to advocate for the growth and development of agritourism in your various countries, but also around the world.
Thanks, Rose. Next, we'll hear from Caroline about conference hosting protocols. And I bring that up just because so many people have said, how do I get to host a conference? Caroline's here to help us figure out how to do that.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's so great to see so many people from around the world here. So my name is Caroline Miller. I'm a beef and sheep farmer from Angus in Scotland. I run a tourism business on our farm. I'm also the sector lead for the agritourism sector in Scotland, and I've been running events for, I've just counted up about 30 years, I think. So this committee, and I'd be very keen to have as many of you as possible come and help me, but I started some work looking at what makes a good conference venue, host country, what are the ingredients that make a brilliant international conference, how often should we have a conference, how will we record notes of interest, what is the process that we will go through as an organisation to decide where the conferences are held, etc., etc. So obviously coming together is fantastic. It's great to be on Zoom, but it's better to be in person. So the conferences and visiting different continents and different countries is going to be a key part of this organisation. So anyone that wants to get involved and come and hear from more about what we're trying to do is very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. And speaking of conferences, I'll invite Andrea from URAC Research to talk about the Conference Planning Committee, because I've already mentioned the Second World Congress on Agritourism, and Andrea will tell you a little bit more about that and how to get involved in planning for that event.
Thank you, Lisa. Greetings, everyone. I'm Andrea Mezzolo, a senior researcher from Italy, one of the co-chairs of the first World Congress on Agritourism. And yeah, in close contact with the previous committee, I think the main goal of this working group is to plan upcoming major events such as thematic conferences, workshops, and big congresses, such as the next World Congress. The second one we are organizing for the next year in Italy, here in Bolzano. If you're interested in knowing more, you are welcome to join this group and collaborate with us. Thank you.
And we should mention the dates for people who won't make it. What is it, May
May date?
16th to 18th of
16th to
2024?
18th next May.
Yeah,
Not this year, next year in 2024.
so mark your calendars. And then in the meantime, coming up even sooner, we have World Agritourism Day, which is led by Pandurang from Agritourism India.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all the stakeholders of agritourism businesses and sector across the globe. Today actually is the historical day in our farmers' life in India and for that matter across the globe. Today we are launching World Platform of Agritourism, that is Global Agritourism Network, GAN. With this, we aim to enhance the capacities of agritourism stakeholders across the globe. With respected Chair, Dr. Lisa, Vice Chair, Dr. Carla, Past Chair, Dr. Thomas, Secretary Chadley, Treasurer, Dr. Rohana, my co-colleagues in all respective regional and auxiliary committee, Scotty Jones, Caroline, Kumar, Maria, Jackie, Andrea, Susie Madam, David, and Marike. World Agritourism Day Committee, 16th May, as you all know, is celebrated as World Agritourism Day. This year, we are going to celebrate glorious 16th World Agritourism Day. Goals of our committee is to provide the forum to discussion of agricultural-based tourism. Second goal is to collate the outcome of providing the input of the development of global agritourism standards and guidelines. Third, connect with the respective GAN members in all countries to practice agritourism development on sound, environmentally sustainable, and socially responsible tourism development. Fifth is contribute with the right support and guidelines, contribute sustainability of local socio-economic development and poverty reduction. Sixth, to bring out the good examples of successful agritourism globally. 7, to celebrate official World Agritourism Day every year in every country with respective theme of that year. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you, Pandurang. And we can drop the link into chat for World Agritourism Day. And I will mention, all of you will add you to an email list and keep you posted about events. So if you don't catch all the links or catch all the dates, we'll send follow-up information. Next, I would like to invite our Communications Committee Chair, Susie from NAFTMA International Agritourism Association.
Hello, everyone. So glad to be a part of today and to share all this information. As was said, I am the Executive Director for the NAFTMA International Agritourism Association. So what the Communications Committee is intending to do is really to, first off, discuss sort of the best ways that the organization can share information and how to collaborate in getting information to each and every one of you and everyone else associated in this particular industry. Part of those different topics that we have formulated include social media, discussion on the website, the email that system, so that if there's additional questions from anyone, who's going to be handling that, and then some additional next steps in this process. So we'll be discussing further in breakout.
Thank you, Susie. Next up, we are talking about sustainable and regenerative agriculture and agritourism. David from Keene Farm in Canada.
Yes, first of all, I welcome everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. First of all, I'm a farmer from Quebec, Canada. That's the first thing. I've got 600 acres for 250 hectares of marginal land. And I've been practicing sustainable agriculture for many years. And Lisa, unbeknownst to me, it was only a few months ago I discovered I'm practicing regenerative agriculture. I didn't even know I was doing that. So what I figured that would be the perfect topic for me to get involved with as a committee. And the two of those, agriculture and agritourism, are inextricably linked. And right now, it's very, very current worldwide due to, for especially in agriculture, due to climate change, the pandemic, food security, even geopolitical tensions. We saw what that can do to agriculture worldwide. And agritourism, as far as I'm concerned, is very, very dynamic. So we have to be constantly updating ourselves. And I want, as a committee chair, reach out every nook and cranny around the world, no stones unturned. So there's where I'm heading for.
Thank you, David. And then the last committee to introduce themselves, last but certainly not least, we'll hear from Marika from Agritourism New Zealand about the Education Committee.
Hi, everyone. This is Marika Danselman. I'm the founder and CEO of Agritourism New Zealand. I'm really excited to be here. And actually, I thought that you were going to be in this little introduction too, Lisa, because she's with me on this committee with the webinar committee as part of this, right? That's still the case. So we work with farmers, farming organizations around New Zealand, government, and Tourism New Zealand, which is the national tourism organization, to promote and develop agritourism in New Zealand. A big focus of us is training. We are just running at the moment a training program all around New Zealand and developing local clusters as well. So I'm very passionate about training. I've been working in training and regional development for 26 years around New Zealand. The Education Committee, it's very much, of course, a process where we work together in developing a strategy for, again, relating to education. There's a lot of resources globally already there that can be found on websites. And it would be really great to coordinate those resources and also coordinate perhaps more webinars, or there's a whole lot of opportunities there to sort of to work together in educating each other around the world. So there are also, of course, a whole lot of agritourism conferences and other events happening, to have all that sort of in one place so people can see what's available and have access to resources and perhaps live webinars or live events. You can all come to New Zealand and experience agritourism here. Is all part of this this committee and developing that strategy and getting everyone's ideas. So it's still very early stages, of course, for everyone, but yeah, very excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Marika.